Well, hello. This is Moving Money Mike, and this is the Legacy Insights Podcast. And welcome to the show. We are now on episode number 8. I am so excited for the progress that we've made together in moving forward. Um, Listen, today is going to be a really valuable lesson. I want you to really know and understand that, like, hey, this pillar pillar number 4, align, is so huge, right? When I say it's time to get your money, your mind, and your money right, this is exactly what I'm talking about. So listen, check it out. We're here to discuss entrepreneurship, financial strategies, and to guide you to get your goals and dreams. Simply put, we provide insight to get your mind and your money right. We're going to be covering topics, tips, entrepreneurship, open QA, current events, how they affect you and how they shouldn't, right? We need to know what is a legacy and how you build it. Simply put, my goal is to assist you in becoming a better informed individual, better informed entrepreneur, and to help you be financially set and free. So it's time to let's get smarter. So I got my notes here. We're going to jump right into this episode. I don't want to waste any time in sharing pillar number 4, align, bringing your money and your family together. Wow. Listen. When I'm talking about alignment, there is no bigger blessing to have your mind and your money right when it comes to family, right? Because without that in itself, your legacies, boy, is it in trouble. So let's jump right into it. We're gonna have a quick recap of what we've the past 3 pillars. The first pillar was knowledge. The second pillar was elevate. You see that? Listen, that wasn't a disturbance. That was an affirmation that you've got to learn, right? We got to learn how to hold our money accountable, right? So we're not going to just sit here and just think that this thing is going to happen. It's not. So let me just make sure that this doesn't happen again. Right? I mean, even though it's timely, we're going to do it. Make sure that we're on the right page. So here we go. The second pillar, elevate, was about growing, right? We have to grow. We have to learn and then grow, right? They say knowledge is power, but applied knowledge is powerful. Plain and simple. We got to grow. Then we got to guard it. That was pillar number 3, right? We got to protect what we've already put into play and what we put into action, right? We got to guard it like our lives depend on it because guess what? It does, right? So today's theme in pillar number 4 is line, bringing your money and your family life into harmony. What's the point of building wealth if it divides your home? Alignment keeps your legacy strong. Um, you've heard the stories um, about lack of alignment. When I was on the phone with a brother the other day, and we were talking about family ties and family uh, uh, um, legacy and the property that like our forefathers and our family have left, right? See, I'm a descendant of slave owners and I'm sorry, sharecroppers and slaves that had property, the 40 acres and a mule. So our family has some property that they were not completely swindled out of, right? Because when the government gave us that 40 acres of the mule, they started taking advantage of the lack of knowledge, and they were that money that land and the money was basically robbed from them, right? So we still have some acreage left, and we were talking about that, me and his brother, and what happened was he was saying how there's certain individuals within the family who are been entrusted with the overseeing of that property now are not doing the right thing, right? So there's a lack of alignment there, right? Because they're putting, possibly, you know, self-preservation over the alignment of the whole family's goal, right? Bringing it into harmony that we just spoke of, right? So um, a family whose lack of financial alignment causes chaos versus one that thrived by working together. So that's what we're talking about here. So let's just jump right into this here, right? Because I don't want to waste any time on people and stories that are not doing the right thing because we're worried about doing the right thing, right? We already know what the issues are. We need to get to the solutions, right? I don't use that word problem because problem suggests that there is no solution, right? Issues have solutions. Problems have more problems, right? We don't stick in the problems, we stick in the solutions today. So we're going to transition right into money and marriage, building together and not apart. Right. There's some myths out there that say, couples should avoid talking about money because it causes fights. No, no. What it causes is an awareness, right? You must be in alignment. You must have the discussions because when you do the economics of a situation, right, you're more in tune to take in your emotion and your feelings out of it because it's strictly economical, right? What I think and how I feel has nothing to do with what I must do. How I feel and what I think has nothing to do with what I must do. It may be an influence on it, but at the end of the day, I got to get it done, no matter how I feel about it, no matter what I think about it. Especially when it comes to like your job, right? So there's a couple of different ways we can go with this thing, right? Because like you may not like your boss, you may not like the economic situation you're in, right? Right. And dwelling on it and moaning and groaning about it is not going to get it done, not going to get it fixed, or not going to get you to where you need to be, right? You need to do something different, right? Because they say, you know, um, what you if you keep doing what you've always done, you're going to keep getting what you've always got, right? So you got to do something different, and that's what we're talking about here. So the truth is, silence around money causes more damage than it does than the money itself, right? So the longer you keep quiet about it, right, it's not even about the money anymore, right? It's about you not getting to the solution. Like I said, solution based resolution solving is the cure for the cancer of the lack of money conversations, right? So, like, I am constantly talking about resolving money issues in my household, right? Because if I'm not doing it here, how can I be talking to you about it there, right? It's just what it is, right? So a lot of times, like, oh, well, you don't like having fun. You don't. No, I want to do the things that I want to do and that everybody wants to do. I want to go on, more than one vacation a year, right? But the economics of it says, hey, if you want to keep a roof over your head, you want to make sure you got an emergency fund. You want to make sure that, right, you are putting money away for a rainy day. You're putting money away for your retirement. Guess what? The vacation is that nicety now, right? Over the necessity. You see, because I don't want to have more month than I have money. I don't want to get into my golden years and have lead pockets, right? Check that out. You got your golden years and you got lead in your pockets. Come on now. Come on now. Listen, we going to get smarter than that. I said, let's get smart. It's time to let's get smarter. So that's what we're talking about. So here we go. Right, three essential conversations every couple must have. The first one is a goal. What is the goal? What is the reason for even working? And what is it? Was it just to have money? Like I told you, I don't work to pay bills. I work to pay me. Then I pay the bills out of the money that I've made, right? Because I can pick and choose. All right, I need to keep a roof over my head. I need to keep the lights on and the utilities paid, right? I need to have some food in the refrigerator, and I need to have a car, right? Certain cities, if you live in a city, right, maybe you just need to have that Metro card, right? You need to have that $40, that $50 for that Metro card, so you can jump on that bus, the train, the subway, so you can get back and forth to work, right? and keep the machine, your home, that economic engine running, right? So you got to have those goals. What are you working toward, right? Home, kids, college, retirement, right? You got to have those goals. These are the three conversations that every couple must have, right? And then a budget. How do we handle income, bills, and spending, right? We talked about in the previous episodes about niceties over necessities, or how about necessities over niceties, right? It just depends on what is the glass half empty or is it the glass half full, right? What comes first in your household? Necessities over niceties. Now you got couples who are thinking in those terms, right? You got one spouse thinking necessity, the other spouse thinking nicety. Is that an alignment? You tell me, right? Again, these are three essential conversations that every couple must have. That budget is essential to growth. So we're gonna revisit all this because, like I said, I'm gonna get through these six pillars, right? And then we're gonna go back to the beginning and dive deeper into the first principle of learning. Then we're going to dive deeper into the principle elevate. Then we're going to dive deeper into the guard, right? And then we're going to dive deeper into principle pillar 4, align, right? Blending versus separate accounts, pros and cons. Okay, this is huge. I've talked to people that said they have separate accounts and no blended account for the bills. They have separate accounts and budgets and no blended budget. Where's the alignment there? Where's the alignment there? Not much alignment, right? You're doing the right thing, but it's separate. Alignment means all in, right? My man Nipsey Hussle says, all money in, no money out, right? This is a marathon, right? Tips for couples with different money personalities, spenders versus savers, right? What are some of those tips? Okay. Once you've got that budget set, right? Now what you want to do, you've got your liabilities and your income uh separate, written down. So you know what you got coming in, you know what's got to go out. The difference is your well, I'm getting tongue tied here. The difference is your spendable money, right? So, and what you got to work with. So now, once you have that, now you can actually in your budget create an account for your spending so that you can both have a little freedom money, right? Because in your budget, you want to have date night, you want to have all your utilities and bills and stuff, but you want to have a date night in there, you want to have your little separate account, and then what's left over, you want to make sure that you're investing and saving in yourself, right? So like, when you got a spender and a saver, you got to make sure that you've got those lines very, very clear in what you're going to do, because that alignment is even more detrimental when you have two different personalities working. So when you and your spouse pull in the same financial direction, you both double your impact. So the action steps, you got to have a 15 money check-in date this week. That's one of the actions. Let's call the action. So you got to have a 15-minute money check-in every day and every week, right? So whatever day that might be for you, you know what I'm saying? It's not usually going to be a Monday. It could be like a Wednesday or a Saturday or a Sunday evening, right? So like, because if you have it toward the later of the week, you know what I mean? You got the pressure of Monday, Tuesday, right? There's a lot going on. You're just getting back in the grind. School's coming back online. Kids are, you got to go not school shopping, all this stuff is taking place and you want to be ready for that. But so you want to have your 15-minute money check-in date toward the end of the week so that you know what's going on. And I highly recommend that, right? So That's that first area that you should get in line. That in the marriage and the couples, when you have that mingling of finances, right? Then you want to start talking to your kids. If you have kids, right, you got to teach them about money. If you're going to pass the torch, right, you working hard for something, you're going to build something. Whether if it's a financial legacy of some sort where you've got investment put away for them, right? You want to make sure that when they do get to it, when they get to 18, right, and they become legal adults, that they do the right thing with that money, right? And your hard work that you put together and you built this thing, and for them that they've got the right mindset to be mature enough, money mature, to move forward with it and use it in the right ways. So why teaching kids is critical? Because schools don't teach it. When I first got started over a decade ago, good over a decade ago, right? There was only 4 schools out of 50 states, 4 states out of 50 that taught financial awareness and concepts to children, and it is still not adequate, right? As far as I'm concerned, it's still not adequate, right? Because they're not teaching, just the economics of it, right? To where it's like, hey, you make this amount of money, it takes this much to live, and this is what you got to live on, right? You should not be sunning and funning yet until you get to a certain point, right? Kids weren't learn by watching. So if we're not responsible adults with our money and how we handle it, how we spend it, how we even pass it along to them. Like I was talking a few episodes back when I was talking about my granddaughter, talking about I don't take out the trash. That's the boy's job. And I said, well, if you want this money to go to that event, guess what you're going to do? You're going to take that trash out. Because it's not about the trash anymore, right? It's not about the chore anymore. It's about earning it and then being grateful for the earning to go out and do what you want, right? Because uh, earning is not a right; it's a privilege. Just like people think that a driving license is something you're supposed to have. No, I had a judge tell me one time, uh, uh, you know, moving money, Mike, driving in New Jersey is a privilege. It's not a right. And if you want to keep that privilege, I suggest you do X, Y, and Z and get your mind right if you want to drive right in the state of New Jersey. So, like, I'm just sharing with you that, like, it's imperative that we teach our children that, money is a privilege, right? And that, like, doing the things that we need to do, it takes us giving back some skin in the game, right? So when they watch us do the right thing with money, right, they're more inclined to mimic the behavior, right? They say you grow up to be your parents, right? That's what I'm talking about here. We grow up to be our parents, not only in looks and behaviors, but in money spending habits and conversations, right? Talk about money all the time. Most of my grandchildren say, "Hey, Papa, what you doing? Working?" They tell me I'm working, right? Right? Because they know, listen, Pop-Pop's got to go to work, man. I got to get this in. If I want what I want to give back, I got to put the work in, right? You can't graduate if you don't go to class, right? You can't win if you don't practice, right? So here we go, right? Practical lessons by age groups. So like when you got young kids, you want to have a savings jar, right? You want to have them to understand what a want is versus what a need is. Right? I talked about that. Niceties versus necessities. There you go. A want versus a need. Utilities versus a vacation. Right? I could just say it. A Rolex watch versus a Timex. Right? Silver versus gold. right? There's lots of examples out there, right? So when you're talking to your kids and those some of these practical lessons that they can learn, the younger they are, the easier it is for them to understand. Like, hey, you know, you want McDonald's or you want peanut butter and jelly? Because McDonald's costs, right? Then, well, I want McDonald's. Right. Well, no, peanut butter jelly is good too, but no, but that's a McDonald's is a want, right? That's what that is. We talking to preteens. You want to talk to them about earning an allowance through chores and budgeting for fun, right? So I just touched on that. Like, listen, I talked to my granddaughter. Like, hey, love you, right? And I've got 11 grandkids, right? And I talk to them about the things that they need to hear because guess what? That's a lot of money coming to holidays. And birthdays seem like every week when you got 11 grandkids. It seems like, damn, I just had a birthday party. What the hell? Right? So I let them know that, hey, Pop Pop loves you, but we're gonna do this thing in a way that you understand that it's not always about how much, but how much it costs and what it is as it is how much we love you and care about you. And here's a little something to celebrate your day, your special day, and make you feel special. But like, it's also about teaching them principles, right? The earning of that, right? So especially when it comes to kids, the teen kids who want to go out and start exploring the world that we're in, right? And then you got the teens, debit cards, basics, savings for goals, and first job paychecks. Wow, right? Teaching them about debit cards, the most insidious tool that the financial industry has come up with, and I'm in it. I'm in the financial industry, right? You know, um, is a debit card, credit card, and any type of card where you can swipe. See, because what they did, they figured out that if they can disconnect you from your money, the physical touching of money, you won't feel the loss. So if I let you swipe rather than dig in your pocket, pull it out and give it to me, you will spend more of it, right? Because you're just swiping, and there's no connection to the movement of your money from your pocket to this institution, this from your pocket to the store, from the pocket to the retail, from your pocket to a merchandiser, right, or to another individual, right? So that's one of the most insidious devices that they've come up with to separate us from our money, and we need to teach our children about that, right? So, and then saving for a goal, right, is just teaching them principles, right? So we have to have these conversations with our children about what is it that you really want, right? Now, you got two things. You got that, if it's like your ladies, I understand there's nails, hair products, personal hygiene, hair, it's a lot, right? You know, I'm a guy, and I get up in the morning, splash some water on my face and my wipe it off, and I shave. You know, there's no makeup, right? Some people say I probably could use some, right, right, but there's no makeup, you know, and there's no wig, and there's no hairspray, and there's no lipstick, right, and no the eyelashes and stuff like that, right? But you know, you know where I'm going with this, right? There are certain things that the teens need, and they're saving. So they need to have certain things, but having the goal, right, versus those necessities is what they should be leaning toward, right? You want to go to the beach, or do you want to save that money so that you can get that nicer purse later, or you want to get that, you want to save for your car, right? Because you can always buy the purse, but how about you get your necessities, and you put that extra $100 away for the down payment of your car when you get to 16, 18 to drive, 17 to drive, something like that. I think that's what it is now, right? You want to start saving for that. And that first job paycheck, right? You want to teach them that there's a certain percentage of your paycheck that they should be putting away every time they get paid. There's some biblical teachings, that I don't want to go into right now, but tithing and saving, there's many chapters, that are referenced throughout the good book about saving money, and having financial wherewithal, right? So those are things. So how to make money lessons fun. You're going to do it through games, grocery store trips, letting them budget for a family outing, right? So these are things that you can put into place, right? Legacy insight. When kids understand money young, they skip the mistakes parents had to learn the hard way. So that's a legacy insight for you. When you're going about your day, these are the lessons that you need to be mindful of to show your children, hey, when I stop to get gas and they're sitting in the back with the headphones on and their head down, and you know, you say, hey, you see what I'm doing, right? And you see how much this gas costs me? Now they're gonna give you, oh mom, oh dad, their head rolled back, right? But that's what they need to hear to make the connection that everything, them getting dropped off at their friend's house or at the mall, that costs money. I mean, it might be in the daily, to do, but that costs money. Every time you leave your house, you go into a deficit, right? So like I don't have to worry about the world economy. I just have to worry about my address economy, right? So you got to make these things the kids understand. They skip the mistakes that their parents make by understanding that money is a tool to get through the day and through their week, through their year, through their lives, right? It's just a tool. So the action step, I need you to teach your kid one money principle this week and every week. Start talking to your kids about the money, right? And how important it is to be responsible about money. They may not have a job, but they need to see you being responsible with the money and talking about responsibility of the money, right? And so that they can build on it, right? So that's one of the things. So we're moving along. Alignment and family goals. Everyone's on the same page, right? So it goes from the spouses to the children, and that makes it the family goal. How goals drive money management, right? So when you start having the conversations with your spouse, with the children, talking about goals, right? So my goal in the next 2 3 years, I want to drop, a qu- you know 250,000 on a new home, right? I want to drop it, yeah, $300,000 on a new home. I just that kind of money. I want to drop it on the house and just say, hey, you know what? I don't want to have to lift with a hammer, a paintbrush. I'm done. I'm done. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. Right. I want you to do the same. Right. But it starts with having a goal, right? And so when you got your spouse on the same page, your spouse is on the same page, your children on the same page, you got your goal, and you say, hey, you know, this is the goal. I want to drop this amount of money, on this goal. If I'm buying a new home, this is how much money I would need to do it. So what do we got to do over these next 1, 2, possibly 3 years to get this goal? Right? And then what are the small goals along the way? Do we want to take a vacation? Do we want to do a staycation? Do we want to, have date movie night and family fun nights, right? Something to pacify the instant gratification that we feel that we deserve because we go to work 9 to 5 and the kids go to school from 8 to 2, right? And and they think they deserve, to have more fun on the weekend, right? We're getting those goals together so that you're managing those goals, right? So there are some pitfalls that come about, right? Parents saving while kids are unaware, or spouses pulling in different directions. So again, we're talking about, if no one's talking about the goal, people can say, well, I didn't know. I'm a big proponent of saying more than I need to say, so that you cannot tell me, well, you didn't say that to me. Oh, no, I told you. Oh, no, I did mention that to you. Now, if you forgot or you just didn't remember, but I'm pretty sure I said to you that, hey, this is what we're doing. This is how it's going to get done, so that you cannot come back to me later and say, well, I don't remember that. I don't remember you saying that. Oh, well, no. We had that conversation, right? So that there is no misalignment in what needs to be done, how it needs to get done, and if anything goes south, right, we could pull it back in and get it back on the tracks, right? So some of the pitfalls is just not having the conversation so that everybody can understand that we're going in the way that we're going. So I'm going to say just this: we need to have these conversations on a regular. So here's one strategy: you got to hold a vision meeting, a family vision meeting, right? People always talk about dream boards, right? Well, a dream board is just not a picture or a postcard that you want to go to Italy or Dubai or sit on the beach someplace. Yeah, it is one of many things, right? But soon as that picture fades from the phone, the screen, you know, is gone. You got to have a vision board so that when each one of you walk by it and you reach up and you touch it, you say, yeah, we're going to get there, because it is now constant, present in mind. They say, hold on, I got some notes here, because we had a really big convention this past week down in Atlanta. Um, and they said, speak what you seek, right? That's a vision board. If you speak it, it can be, words are spiritual and they can become physical. So I said, money is in life is a mindset. So it starts in the mind, it goes to the head, it comes out the mouth, and then it can actually manifest into something physical. So speak it as you seek it, right? And then, once you start having those vision meetings, you can ask, what do we want as a family? Houses, vacations, college, giving, business. That's the essence of a legacy. And then you start to prioritize that, right? Rank the short term versus the long term. Like I said, in the next 2 years, I want to drop $250,000 on a house. I just want, I don't want nothing to do when I finally move into that forever home. I don't want to do nothing but sit on the porch, hit the remote, light the barbecue, jump in the pool. I don't want to do nothing, right? But serve y'all through this podcast, right? So let me just stop real quick. Listen, if you're listening to this show and you're hearing it, what I'm speaking, if you like what you're hearing, hit that subscribe button at Legacy Insights Podcast, right? Hit that like, the subscribe, hit that QR code there on the banner, right? Get that information, that free financial report. Learn some things. You're going to learn about financial tools, tips, and you're going to get some reaffirmation of some things that you know that you're going to not know, and you'll have some access to let me know if you're liking what you see. Like, put some reviews down in there, right? Um, let me know if I'm really speaking to you, right? Because that's the purpose of this show, is not to sit up here and be a talking head, right? I really want to be able to do some good for the community. I really want to be able to provide you the insight to get your mind and your money right, right? It sounds like that, but it's so true. I want to be able to give back. So by me going through these points and these pillars, right, it is my way of saying thank you to all those people that have poured into me, right? I've been able to do some things in my lifetime. Listen, I was out with family just the other day, out in the Barnegat Bay. I'm gonna post that video, right? We were out, in what is it, the F channel, right? Where everybody had all their party boats, and it was just beautiful. It's get out on the water and relax and enjoy yourself, right? This is life. This is legacy. This is what I want to be able to give back, experiences to let you know that wherever you are, whatever you're going through, right? It's okay because it's just a momentary place that you're in and at, that you can rise above that, pull yourself out of it, get your mind and your money right, and get your life on track the way you want it. You are not what anybody else says you are. You are who you make yourself out to be. And there's a calling on your life, right? There is, if you feel that there's something that you should be doing deep down in your soul, that's the higher power saying to you that, right, I've already given you all you need to be who you were supposed to be. I tell you, there's three most important days in every person's life. Go back to the episode and listen to it. There's three most important days in every person's life: the day you were born, the day you found out why you were born, and then the day you decided to take your gift and give it back to the world, right? Those 3 days, man, they're huge. And I'm finding out who I was, right? And who I am. And like, this is part of who I am. I was made to do this, to give back my experiences to the world, right? So, like, listen, I'm giving freely, right? Let's keep this thing going, right? Go to Legacy Insights Podcast, hit the subscribe button, hit the likes, click on the scan that QR code, get your mind and your money right. Let's go. Let's get smarter. Okay. So when you get your family in alignment, these are shared values, right? A legacy is bigger than money. It truly is. It's about what your family stands for, right? I learned a while back, and I say it, I tell my boys all the time, I've got more pride in my pinky than most people have in their entire ass bone. And I say that factually. I've got more pride and dignity in this pinky than most people got in their ass because of the way they carry themselves. If you really love yourself, right, you will do everything to pull yourself together, no matter what your family situation is, and then bestow upon the world who you truly were made to be. That's pride. Not being boastful and egotistical, but knowing your true value and worth, because you feel it in here. It's just got to come from here out to here and manifest it so you can show the world who you are. And that's what this show is about. Helping people to become who they are through some simple practical ways and some insight, right? Now, it's more than just family values. It's like how you live too, how you want to be remembered. It's not about the money, right? People make a lot of money and they're still assholes, right? Money only makes you more of who you are. So I heard one time, that you every day we are writing our eulogy, right? So that's what we're doing here, right? So when I'm talking about legacy, it's not always about money. It's about who you are, right? Those values in your personal your worth, right? You got to encourage families to write down money values, giving, saving, education, and experiences. There you go. You got to be in alignment. You got to know whom you are. So when I spoke with my daughter-in-law the other day, and I said, listen, you got to get yourself a book and do a mind dump, right? It might up in your head between your ears. There's a lot of noise, going on. There's a lot of noise going on. And in that noise, you got to be find some peace. So if you're writing that down, just doing a mind dump, it might look like scratches on a paper, but it truly is peace of mind. Because when you get it out of here and dump it on there, now you can see with what you're dealing with, and you can actually put that into some order and make some sense out of it. And what you might find is genius. You might find some a message in the mess, right? And that message will speak to you and carry you to your destiny. That's what we're talking about here, right? Building a legacy. And it's in here, and it's in here. You just got to get it down on some paper, go through the mess to get the message, right? And take it to the next level. So I want you to write this stuff down, right? Those experiences, right? Those are fuel for the fire, right? My experiences were fuel for the fire, getting knocked down, getting kicked around by the people that I thought loved me, or said they loved me, by the people who said they were my boys and my friends, getting kicked around. They was doing all kind of crap behind my back. But today I'm shining because they say the best way to live your life is by doing better and by being truly happy with whom you are, that inner peace, right? So no matter what happens, right, you can get through it. Here we go. Example: some families prioritize travel, others prioritize business ownership, others prioritize giving back. So, like, what is that? Me and my significant other were talking about just that, the travel. Well, we're getting older, um, and we need to travel. And I said, yeah, we do. But is everything all right? Right? So we can travel, but still come home and feel like our world's a mess, right? How many people, and this, and I'm not talking crazy or judging, but how many people go on vacation on credit and come home and got more debt than when they left? How many people that are in the sound of my voice right now have credit card debt from years past from vacations that they taken, but because of the high interest rates, you still paying off those credit cards? Let's just sit that sink in for a second. How many people have credit card debt from years past from vacations they've taken and still paying off the debt because of the high interest on the credit cards that they use to take that vacation? Is that money management, or is it money managing you? Hey, let's keep it moving. This is about getting your mind and your money right. It's about economics. It's not about how what I think or what I feel. It's about what I do, right? This is about what we do here, right? Money is a tool. Family values decide how it gets used. That's it. I say it all the time. Money's a tool. So when you get the economics involved, you can take your feelings and your emotion out of it and get right to what it is. So what we're going to do, we're going to bring it all together. We're going to recap some of these takeaways. Couples need to talk. Talk about money. Don't hide from it. Don't hide from it, because if the more you hide from it, success is going to hide from you. Just that simple. If you hide the money conversation, you don't have transparency, clarity won't come to you. It won't. Right? That's just simple. It's just what it is, right? If you're not willing to put the demons out in front, how are you going to defeat them? If you're not willing to deal with the things that are holding you down and holding you back, because you rather deal with some instant gratification, how you expect to win? There's no different than money or with health, right? People say they want to be in shape and they want to be okay, but yet they still sucking down soda, sugar, more alcohol than they should have, right? They're not getting no rest, they're not getting no exercise, but yet they want to live. And then when they on, last rites, you talk about, oh God, save me. Well, it's a little late. I'm not trying to be cruel about it. I'm just trying to be factual about it. You say, "Oh, I want my mind, I want my money right. I want to do this. I want to do that." I had someone say to me the other day, "I want to live my most fabulous life, but I want to be able to save money too." Where that happen at? Unless you hit the pick six, right? How you gonna live your most fabulous life? You ain't making but X amount of dollars a year, but you want to, and then you want to save too. You can't do both unless you have a plan and a strategy that balances out necessities and niceties, where you can do some of what you want sometimes, so that you can sacrifice and put away for the days that you got coming. Because if the creator allows you to live right as expected, and you start to getting older, you're going to need some of that money working for you and put away so you can still have a good time while saving. So these are some of the things that you want to talk about money. Don't hide from it. You want to teach the kids now and not later, because later it's going to be too late. Because once they get the habits, they set in, right? They say by the time a child is 6, 7 years old, they've already determined who the outcome of that child, right? It might even be younger. I can't even remember. It might even be 4 or 5 years old, something like that. It's amazing, right? So you want to start teaching kids now who they are. By the time they're 12 and 13, we have no influence over them anymore. It's their peers, it's their school buddies, it's social media, it's the TV. We, as parents and individuals, we have no more influence over the children's intake of information, right? So you got to set those family goals and set them together, right? It takes a village. That's what we're talking about. That's the name of this. That's the episode here, right? Alignment. It takes a village, right? Because it is such that big of a deal. It's going to take everybody involved to get to the goal, right? One or two people can't pull the rest of the village with them, right? I don't know what movies you've ever watched, right? When there's a settlement of people, they're all working together. You got a blacksmith, you got a barber, you got this, you got that. Nobody's got no real job, but they're bartering services, right, amongst the village people so that they can all survive. Then you got a group of people that grow the crops so that everybody can eat. You got a group of people raising the farm animals so that the villagers can eat and have meat. It takes a village, people, right? So you got to make sure that your tribe is all going in the same direction, right? Family goals, you got to set them together. What are we doing? And why are we doing it? So there's some clarity of action, of clarity of service, clarity of vision, right? So family values, define what your money supports. Your money got to know where it's working. You got to know where your money's working, right? It's got every dollar's got to have a job and a place. See those previous episodes. See those previous episodes. It will talk about knowing where your money should be, right? Alignment creates harmony, ensures the legacy outlives you, right? So I talk to my sons all the time about being the person to plant a tree that I know I will never be able to sit in the shade of. That's what this is all about. Being the person that plants the tree, knowing I'll never be able to sit in the shade of that tree, but I'll also know that my legacy will be sheltered from the storm because I planted it. so that will protect them from the storms that are going to be coming, because they're coming. No one's coming to save us, right? The world economy has nothing to do with my address. The world economy has nothing to do with my family and my legacy. I mean, there's some ups and downs. There's a little things that goes on with prices in the markets and things like that. But overall, we are responsible for setting up our legacies so that our families can grow and thrive based on what we have started and put in place. Mindset, money's a tool, niceties, necessities over niceties, right? That mindset and the teaching of financial responsibility. So we got to be in alignment to create that harmony. So to continue, I'm going to challenge you guys to have one money conversation with your partner every week, starting this week, starting right now. Have that conversation. Damn, baby, what are we doing? What are we doing? Are are we really doing this thing or what? Because like if we're not, then what are we? Then what are we just working? We just working. We working to pay bills. What? What? Well, because like I told you, I don't go to work to pay bills. I go to work to get paid to pay me. Then I take care of everything that I'm responsible for, right? And if I don't have enough for me, then guess what? I'm going out and get me another job. That was what principle was that? That was principle elevate. I got to upskill. I got to get me a side hustle. I gotta get, I gotta get some other things going on. I gotta get some other popping. I can't be laying around here watching the game. I can't be laying around here smoking weed and chilling. I gotta go get me some more damn money, right? Because I don't got what I need, right? Watching football players and baseball players and soccer players who are already wealthy kick a ball around, ain't paying my bills, and they making me and get me to my goal. I, I'm just saying. I love football. I love football. I remember taking helmets off and we had some pretty bad boys on our team back in the day, right? Had a lot of fun. But guess what? I'm not climbing up that hill no more. I'm climbing up this one, right? This is where it's at. Financial strategies to win at the money game, right? Because nobody's coming to save us, right? Teach one lesson to your child, one money lesson to your child every week. Just teach a money lesson. Why it's important to save, why it's important to earn the dollars that you get, what's going on in the world, why there's different classes of people. Just point it out. When you get in your car or you go to get on the bus, they can see who's got something, who doesn't have something, or they might even be feeling it themselves. And you explain to them what that is because they got questions. And these children are watching us more than we think they are. We know they're watching, but sometimes we get caught in the rut of like getting things done and going to work, and we don't really talk about it because listen, they're watching. They know. They're comparing notes in their mind. What's going on, right? Write down 3 family goals together. These are your calls to action. Write down these family goals. What do you see us doing in the next month or two? What do you see us doing in the next year? Right? It don't have to be big. I want to save $100 in the next 2 months. Maybe I may not buy that extra pack of cigarettes, right? Um, Maybe I might sell some stuff I got in my garage, or because that's what I'm going to do, because I got a lot of stuff in my right. I got a lot of extra stuff in my garage, right? And in my storage. That's one of my goals this year, to take off a week and get rid of my storage and clean out my shed. Just too much crap in there, right? Why do I need that? I don't need it. I don't need it. So write down 3 family goals that are going to enhance your family's value and knowledge about money and some clarity about legacy building. That's just call to action. So the next couple of episodes that we're going to be, the next episode that's going to be coming up is pillar number 5, change, breaking the cycle of generational paycheck to paycheck. You got to break those cycles. These patterns that we create are based on habits. So that's why, like I say, when our children watch us, they mimic what they see. So we want to break the old patterns by having these conversations. You know, these challenges that to talk to your children about money. We want to break these patterns that hold our family back. So I want to say in closing, a legacy that is built at harmony at home becomes unstoppable for us outside of it. So when you build it right at home and inside the family unit, it's unstoppable on the outside. So this is Moving Money Mike. I want to thank you for the privilege of your time. I want to thank you so much. Go to Legacy Insights Podcast on YouTube, hit the subscribe button, hit the like, leave a comment, about each and every episode. Share this with your friends and family. This is your show. This is our mission, right? Together to deliver freedom, deliver financial awareness, right? To the people that need it most, you and I. With that, good night.